Yesterday, I made a video saying why I think that there is no redeeming value or making you a better person just because you were married this many years. It does not make you a better person. The number of years in your marriage have nothing to do with your value, your ability as a human, your moral compass, or anything at all. A lot of people stay married because they're cowards to leave. They're afraid their children will get upset with them. They value their money more than their inner peace. I'm not saying that every marriage is doomed, but a lot of them are not very happy. And some of that is not your fault, okay? Because while there are lost causes, it is natural, and all relationships experience what's called hatred at times. Terry Real talks about normal marital hatred, and he says in all of his years touring or speaking to groups, no one has ever come up to him afterwards and said, "What do you mean by that?" Yes, you will get angry with your spouse. Now, how to deal with it is the crucial factor. Because, yes, some people deal with anger by becoming explosive. There are different ways that people deal with their anger. But what I'm here to tell you is that unless you deal with it constructively, it will lead to the demise of your inner peace and your relationship. It is poison to not address it. So one of the ways that people deal with their anger is by being abusive. They just feel entitled to go off on someone. So we already know that that's not healthy, right? But I want to talk about a different kind of anger today, the kind of anger that I experienced in my marriage that people don't talk about, and that's repressed anger. Believe it or not, there are people who are not comfortable with even feeling their anger. They don't think they have a right to be angry. Yes, you do. You will get angry at your partner, okay? When you think you don't have a right to be angry, you may not even feel your anger because as soon as it comes up, you repress it. If you were raised in a home like my ex-husband was, where no one was allowed to be angry or show anger, I'm guessing that's how his parents were raised, or maybe there was someone very angry in their family history and they decided we're not going to show anger. I don't know where it came from, but it wasn't okay to show anger straight out and say, "I'm mad at you about this. We need to talk about this. I don't like this." And one way that people deal with it is by shutting down, stonewalling, but the anger is still there. They haven't acknowledged it or dealt with it. So they're silently stewing, and the other person doesn't know why they're becoming more and more distant. It got to the point in my marriage that I would even say, "I think you're mad about something." And he would go, "No, I'm not." Like he actually believed he wasn't mad. So when people say, "Did he change?" In a way, yes, and in a way, no, because he did not, he was always that same person. But when we first met, he was, when we first met, he was more romantic with me. He took me on trips, he took me on dates. And, over time, as natural resentments occurred in the relationship, he didn't address them. And that anger made him resentful against me and made him distance himself from me. This is really the first time I made a video about it because it's just all becoming, more clear to me what happened. And even when I would say, I would think there's something going on, like he's so distant. And I would say, "What can I do to be a better wife?" And he didn't even know. He didn't know he didn't know he was allowed to be angry. That's the thing. And so becoming passive aggressive was the natural result, because the anger is still there. If you're angry with someone, it's okay to be angry. You can feel your anger, realize you're angry, and then have a conversation with that person about the things that are bothering you and come up with a mutual solution. I'm making this video because I have conversations with coaching clients about their marriages, and a lot of them are unhappily married. And so that's why I tend to make a lot of videos about marriage, and the only one I can personally relate to is my own and what I've seen. I'm not at liberty to discuss the marriages of people who have confided in me, so I speak of my own. So, there's the case of people who don't want to deal with their feelings. Again, it's okay to be angry with people, but if you keep it inside, then it's going to come out passive aggressive, because you're going to shut down, or maybe you start trying to control the other person to try to get them to do what you want. There are really no good strategies around it. At the same time that he was, his resentments were growing over the years as more things built up, and he wasn't comfortable even feeling those resentments. At the same time, I was continuing to grow, and when the kids got older and left the house, I started expecting more out of my marriage. And that's when our worlds really collided. Not like physically collided, but emotionally collided in a way that it was no longer workable, because his desire to avoid looking at himself and feeling anything and just coming clean. I mean, even a year ago, I asked him, what are all the resentments you had against me? You have the floor. He never replied to me. That's how avoidant he was. And you know me, you guys see how I am. But he's never said a mean thing to me. And he's not a doormat, just very uncomfortable with expressing his anger. You guys have to get comfortable with your anger and with all of your feelings. They tell you something. They tell you that something isn't right. And there are times I wish he would have talked to me about the things that upset him, because I would have done, I know now, I think I know what some of the things were. Like, one was he really wanted me to work. I would have worked. I was really committed to my marriage. Another one was spending too much money in the later years of our marriage. And I did that because it was one of my coping mechanisms from my unhappy marriage. But nonetheless, it's important to be able to address your partner and deal with things. And if they don't want to deal with things, why are you there? It's just a misery-making place. So thank you for watching my video.